just want to blow it all up. Start a new life.
They're gonna burn the whole fucking city down now.
Knock. Knock. Who's there? Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck who?
He's literally running to be with her, but he's running as Arthur Fleck. In fact, we say in the script, he's being chased by ghosts, right? There's this Joker kind of doppelganger that is out there with the protesters and supporters. And so Arthur's kind of running from that, Arthur is, to be with her, but she's not that interested in Arthur.
We used to debate all the time about whether or not Lee thought Arthur was really gonna get out of jail.
Excuse me? Yeah, thanks. Oh.
And I'm like, she believes he's getting out.
So the courthouse explosion will end up being roughly a 5-minute seeming one shot that's actually stitched together from 4 different locations and 4 different pieces.
You'll go through with Joaquin through the spaces and be right there with him. When you start doing stuff like that, everybody on the set really gets into that kind of stuff.
You know, this movie has been very art department centric. A lot of sets, a lot of big sets.
Can we get around it? No, they're stuck.
All right, here we go.
But the next set being in downtown Los Angeles, this is a place where we're actually shooting a location. And I think it's nice for us because it gives us urban energy.
I just think those buildings are so beautiful on this side. If you went down there and you took a right and just drove straight to these cars.
Like one in each lane?
Yeah. Sure, do it there.
There are cuts within that long shot. It becomes more incumbent upon camera and visual effects to make those cuts work.
This was the whole thing, is to shoot it here in LA because this is where Todd's team was from, but we had to go to New York to make the connections to all the exterior locations.
This has gone against everything I believe in, having a rap party before we're wrapped. I don't think that people realize the hellscape we are about to enter in New York. This is the best crew I've ever had on any film. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
New York is like the greatest place to shoot, but it's tough, boy. Todd always wanted those stairs in the Bronx, and I lose sleep every night over going back to the stairs because we have Lady Gaga performing on the stairs for 3 nights.
You watch, no one will be there. The Yankees are playing on those nights. 0.0000001% of people going to a baseball game give a shit about Joker shooting on those stairs. You watch, I'll be right.
We are in New York City. The moment we're setting up to do right now is Arthur arriving. Personally, it's very nice because I'm at home in New York, where I belong.
There were some moments that I had to work very hard to not see the fans that were waiting for us or paparazzi, people that were taking pictures. I had to stay in the scene and not be distracted by New York City.
We are at Joker Stairs, is what they call it now, but it's in the Bronx. And although I know the Bronx is the Bronx, it's good, I love it here.
The Bronx presented a really difficult challenge. The neighborhood embraced us, and that's all because of David Webb and his crew and how they treat the neighbors and make them included, and we hire local kids to work on the set. But it's sort of this onslaught of outsiders that come. So it made the filming in New York way more difficult. Joaquin and I, we kind of lean into that, and we just go, hey, this is what it is.
I mean, honestly, that was the end of the movies the last couple of days. All the, weird, stupid insecurities and fears that you have when you're creating something and it's being captured on film and it's going to be there forever. And there's all sorts of panic that everybody goes through in their own way. And all of that kind of revolves around trying to discover what the scene is.
What is, somebody blew up the courthouse and I'm free, let's just go away.
That was a really hard day. That was our last day of shooting. So I think it was the perfect day to shoot that scene.
All these things always feed the film, always feed the performances or feed the way Larry and I are working. So while it might be, oh man, we're so fucked today, it always ends up working out in favor of the movie.
Obviously, Joaquin is amazing, and she was like, I was actually riveted by her. Her look and all is super cool, really cool.
I think it's so interesting that Arthur says there's no Joker, and she's like, I'll be on the staircase. It's heartbreaking for Arthur, but she just can't be around someone that is telling her that it's not real. Because everything she is Joker. We talked about what happens when a hurricane hits a tornado.
Don't panic!
I remember Joaquin once said, what if it's total stillness? And so you see with that kind of thinking, how you can sort of imagine that chaos could bring purity. Lee's whole existence is defined by this man. Like, she just loses herself. You fucker! And then at the end, she kind of discovers who she's gonna be for the rest of her life. And that's love too. When we have big heartbreak, it kind of just defines who we are.
Well, she just realizes that she put this on him, that he was always really just Arthur. The first film, weirdly, was kind of similar thematically as far as the struggle, between Arthur and Arthur's shadow self, which kind of this idea that, we all walk around wearing masks in life. And what happens when you take that mask off and be your true self? In Arthur's case, it was putting on a mask, which really confuses it all, that made his true self come out, we thought,
We're not going away, Arthur. All we had was the fantasy, and you gave up. There is no Joker.
We have it. I went back and looked at the end script.
It's the story of identity. It's the story of who is Arthur Fleck and who is Joker, at least through his own eyes, and what does it mean, to have to embrace your true self and who you are, which is what he has to ultimately do at the end.
It was so hard to say goodbye to this whole movie. It was such a beautiful experience, and what a way to end on that staircase,
I mean, Todd and everyone just assembled this incredible team.
I didn't want to interrupt you during the day because I was literally going to come to your trailer.
That just, made working on this really enjoyable.
Todd, in his own way, with this movie, wanted to celebrate the minds of these two people in a fascinating way.
I think this movie is infinitely more hopeful than the first film for Arthur. In the film business, particularly in Hollywood, when you make hit movies, you get goodwill, goodwill from the studios, but that goodwill is very perishable, so you have to use it quickly. So when you have the opportunity coming off of something like Joker and you go, well, we could kind of do anything, and we could kind of do something that challenges us. I'm talking about Scott and I as writers, me as a filmmaker, Larry as a cinematographer. Really, how can we challenge ourselves in a way, something we've never done before?
Okay, so she starts on that mark. Yes. Yeah.
I think it was very, very brave and bold, and I think that it's a testament to him as a director that he would rather be creative than tell a traditional story of love. This is a love story, but it's Todd's love story.
Well, I mean, I think if you love the first film, it's because you loved Arthur, because really the first film was all Arthur all the time.
Well, it's been quite a few weeks, hasn't it? We have heard every gruesome story of my life.
It was not because of what Larry and I did, the way we shot it, not because of the sets that Mark built. It was because of this love for the character that Joaquin created. So we just thought, well, if we lean into that, and we really lean into taking Arthur apart and breaking Arthur down by the end of it, you know, it just felt right.
There is no Joker. It's just me.